We are live. Mary and Dave from PsychicSoulmateReading.com. And we're here today to talk about energy and psychic vampires. Hi, happy you're here.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about, we're using the term energy vampires, which comes from this really highly recommended book, if you haven't read it already, by Christiane Northrup. And it's specifically for empaths. And probably a lot of people here could qualify as empaths. I mean, you don't want to label yourself as, I am an empath, because you're not. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. But empaths are people who are a little bit more sensitive than the average person, and really want to make the world a better place, type of thing. So they can be prey to these energy vampires. And this is, for me personally, I'm reading this book again. It's my second time going through it. This time I'm really reading it slowly, a little bit every morning, and just going over things again, because actually in the book she talks about a friend of hers who's been treating people as a psychologist, specifically on dealing with narcissism, in relationships with narcissists. For 35 years this guy's been a doctor, a psychologist, treating these people, and he says he can still get fooled. So sometimes, because you can't always tell. And it's one of the most important things going nowadays, is to be able to spot these people and to be able to get out of the situation so that you're not giving to that person, because that's what they feed off. And as well, beyond that, it's really important to be able to have boundaries. And boundaries are, a lot of people, when they hear about boundaries, I'm just listening. I was thinking, okay, I didn't know I was going to talk so much. It just started coming out.
Well, we both have a lot to say about it.
And a lot of people think that boundaries are walls, and they're not walls. Boundaries are actually like a membrane, like the membranes on your cells. Healthy cells have membranes that let in the nourishment and keep the toxins out and put out the waste products. So it's the same thing with boundaries. Boundaries need to be like a membrane. You need to let the love in, let the good in, keep the bad out, and let the good out. You also have to have boundaries with yourself, because none of us are perfect, and we don't want to put our stuff onto other people as best we can. So that's what boundaries really are. And we need to be able to, what it allows you to do is to be able to say no when it's appropriate, and to be able to even say no to yourself at times when it's appropriate, and also to be able to ask for what you want without demanding it. Like, a lot of people ask for what they want, but they're actually secretly trying to control the other person or the situation to get what they want. Ask for what you want, but be open to not getting what you want as well. But you're courageous to ask for what you want, and just let go of the outcome, and then reevaluate how you're going to keep going from there. Okay, that's all I was going to say.
No, but sometimes, you know what? Sometimes we get, like Dave said, we get fooled. Like, even the person that we think that is not, like, I can give you lots of examples, okay? The most common, I have to say, is that love relationship, okay? Say, for instance, you don't see the red flags, okay? And the first red flag is, okay, you want to know what the first red flag is? How are you? We are all nervous when we first meet, obviously, but how are you acting towards that person? What is your body language like doing? Like, are you like this? Are you like this? Are you just feeling like that? Or are you feeling normal? Yeah, well, because the camera's like that.
Sorry, I was seeing you were getting cut off.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. As long as I can hear me. But it's like our body language, and what are you doing? Like, do you find yourself making yourself look a certain way for this person? Do you find yourself maybe even getting surgery for this person, or getting some kind of, cosmetic procedure, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying, like, something you want to try to impress this person. Why? And are you feeling inadequate about that person? Are you feeling like you're not good enough for that person? Sure, we all have insecurities, okay? We all have insecurities, but you got to notice the red flags. I'm speaking from experience, because I was with an energy vampire for many, many, many years. And so I'm just giving you an example. Do you find yourself acting a certain way that you don't usually behave that way? Like, do you find yourself, that's what you got to look at. And are you trying to make yourself look a certain way? And it's all it all boils down to the same thing. You're trying to be something that you're not. That's the first red flag. Okay, if you find yourself being, you can be yourself, and just be being you. Then it's like then you know that that's okay. But sometimes not everybody's perfect. When I say red flags, not everyone's perfect. So there is going to be some things, but you have to know. The second thing I have to say is when somebody ghosts you. Big one.
Yeah, definitely.
That goes for friends. That goes for all love relationships, business associates. If you notice someone's dodging you for some reason, for me, we were busy. Dave and I are very busy people, and we try to get back to everybody that emails us, messages us, calls us. It's just like we got an itch.
Well, it's just what you do.
But it's like, no, we gotta get back to that person right away. We try, and we're busy. But never leave a person hanging there. And sometimes they would just say, oh, like that is another sign that you will see. I don't know if there's questions coming up because, yeah, there is. Sorry if I missed anybody talking. Oh, sorry, guys. Glad to see you guys here. I was just like thinking, wow, everybody's just like the notification of who's here has just stopped. So that's one of the things. Those are the things that you would see. And also the third one. You feel drained. That's our cat.
Hey,
Where is
Garcia.
He wants to be.
I'm gonna go.
Boundaries.
You keep talking.
Okay, Cats represent boundaries. Look.
Absolutely.
I got one here. Halloween decorations. But boundaries. That's the thing. What was I saying? There was something that I said. Oh gosh. I guess Garcia just interfered and said, no, boundaries. Tell them about boundaries. But you see those signs, and those signs come through, and if you don't see them and if you don't catch them in time, you actually you caught up into that trap. And how do you feel? Drained. Yeah, he is better. Thank you, Taco. He's getting better. He is. You get drained. You feel like, oh, I feel like I got to smudge after that person leaves. If you use smudge, that's what I do. I go, oh gosh. Or there's some people that I feel like after a reading, I gotta go smudge because my energy's drained because maybe I've given too much of what, more than the reading. Like I've given more. That happens. It happens to the best of us. We always want to give because our hearts want to give, right? And so that's what happens. We're over delivering something in business, right? And we find bullying. Somebody bullies us, It's very common, and I know there's some people in the workplace, and I know Dave has lots to say.
Sure.
But in the workplace, I hear people say, well, how am I supposed to deal with a boss that's like that? Trust me. I know.
Start looking for a new job, basically. I mean, you
not
might have to
married to
stay
that
there.
job.
You might have to stay there, I mean, just in terms of your bills and whatever you have to do to keep a roof over your head and eat and pay your bills. But, definitely consider getting away from that person in some way, because when you stand up to them, it's almost not worth talking to them because they will twist everything around. It's called gaslighting. They'll twist everything around and turn it around as if they're the victim and try to make you feel guilty. So it's not like with normal, healthier relationships where maybe you'll disagree with the other person, but they're at least willing to listen to your point of view a little bit, and they'll start to understand where you're coming from, and you guys can reach some kind of a mutual understanding. This isn't going to happen with an energy vampire, so you're actually going to make it worse if you you're better off just hatching your own plan to get out of there as soon as you can. But stay in the meantime, but as long as you're going to get out of there, that gives you the why, the strength to be able to put up with their abuse while you're there, because it won't bother you as much anymore because you're getting out of there, and you've already made the decision to be free of their abuse or their energy feeding. And another way, by the way, with friendships, business relationships, and with something like dating or romantic type of relationships, one of the first red flags that I would like to add in there that has happened to me twice in my life, maybe 3 times, always in business, and luckily I didn't get, the very first time I was younger and I got burned, but the recent time it happened I picked up on it really quickly, and I didn't get burned that badly. But now I'm like, it will never happen to me again. Like I went onto YouTube and there's a song called Won't Get Fooled Again. And it was the first thing that popped up, and right when I cut that person out of my life, and I realized it is never going to happen to me again. I will never be fooled. And anyhow, the red flag to watch for is that they love bomb you.
Love bomb.
Mary and I, excuse the language, we call it blowing smoke up your ass.
I gotta have a blooper.
You know, when people do that too much, right away I'm on guard. I always have been on guard, but you know, now doubly. I don't trust anybody who, like, it's different. Yeah, some people can say I really like your stuff and I love you and you know you're great. Like that's okay, but when it's over the top, when it's really over the top, you know. Yeah. That is not a good sign right there. That's somebody who's trying to get something from you.
I get that with, I'll be honest, with people that want to get more time and want me to give them free stuff. More of a reading, longer reading, and also maybe a longer whatever. So like, you know, that's fine too, but I've actually confronted these people and in the past and you know, we've had that. Like Dave was talking about love bombing, and you know, there's nothing wrong with telling somebody I love you and opening up your heart. There's nothing wrong with that. But you kind of look through the person when they're overdoing it, because you can just see that they're manipulating, they're doing something. Go ahead.
Okay, so however I say I love you every day. I mean, well, Mary and I told each other we love each other every day too, several times a day as a matter of fact, and we know it's sincere. But when I don't know, it's just you can tell. You can tell when it's really just too much. You can tell. You just get that vibe. This person wants something, and you know, sometimes like what happened to me. This happened to me a couple of years ago. I kind of knew it, but then I ignored it because these people are wolves in sheep's clothing. This person happened to be in a position where they were a quote spiritual person, and they were always talking about love and showing that they're just a loving, beautiful, spiritual person. So it kind of made me think. I kind of thought at first. I thought, wait, this is too much. This person's really over the top. I don't know if I trust it. But then a second thought process came in, saying, okay, well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because they're just different than other people. They're not your average mainstream person, for example, and you know they always talk about love and forgiveness, and so I'll trust them. I'll work with them, and you know I really didn't want to work with anybody at that point in my life either.
Gotta listen to their vibe, see?
You know, and I just so it happened to both of us.
Dave was in a vulnerable time. It was a time. I don't want to go through a transition.
Yeah, but I want to be careful too because I don't want to. You know, I don't want to say. I don't want it to be. Who it is, or you know, I don't think anybody here would know who it is. No, but you know, I like to keep things to we like to.
Sorry, what did I do?
Reversed it. We like to keep things like low key here. We try to be just down to earth and do our best to be humble, like to be confident. We have our pride of what we do, right?
Yeah.
But we try to be humble. We don't like to
no one's perfect.
Share too many things in that way because I don't want to reflect on anyone, even though they are an energy vampire and all that. But yeah, you were gonna say I was vulnerable or something.
Oh, it was just when you get to like when you're feeling sensitive at that moment, and then sometimes we go through that. We go through our moments, or we're going through something, some changes, or something like that. That it's easy when somebody comes in. This is my experience, and somebody comes in and starts love bombing. Oh, that's fine. Like telling me I love you, I love you too. You know, I say it very openly as well, and I mean it with all my heart. But when somebody just keeps doing it and over and over...
You're just the greatest in the world.
Yeah, like I had somebody that was...
You're the greatest in the world. And,
yes.
You know.
And there was just a...
And they haven't yet entered your space of earning that trust. Like, Mary can tell me I'm the greatest in the world, but she can tell me lots of things. So, but it's different. She's earned... Like, we've been together years, and we've earned each other's trust, you know, and we've built that trust, and we've established that trust, and we're making deposits into it all the time as best we can, but and hopefully no withdrawals.
I used to do that with Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's all right. Go ahead, honey.
No, I was just saying, like in my Zumba classes, and like they used to just love me. Okay, and that's fine. I loved my students very much so, but then I had a couple of them that really loved me too much, and they kind of gotten a little bit obsessed with me and started dressing like me a little bit and wanting to do the things I do. And
then they were saying
And then they were
they didn't like me because I was in the way.
because they want to spend more time with me, and they want to just like we gotta have coffee, and we gotta do this together, and they were kind of bullying me, and it was all about them, me. Okay, and that's fine too. That's what I do. I let people talk, but then after
It'll be saved. I'm sorry. Keep going. I was just
oh yeah, we will try
question.
to. I will try to
saved.
save this. After a year of this, I just couldn't do. I just said, you know what? I woke up and I was like, oh, I can't handle, the sarcasm that I get with that this she does with Dave, that she says with Dave, and like I can't handle when she just kind of like puts me down in a way, and it's like there's a little bit of that frenemy, and so anyways, that was the first. That was one of the first. It's just these people are over generous with their words, but there's this an energy within them that they can't help but feed off your energy. And I got this through a meditation with a mutual friend, David Irons, like this person, and just is more of like feeding off
a mutual frenemy.
A frenemy, feeding off our energy, what ghosts us all the time. But yet, when this person
comes back,
when this person needs us, they're there and wanting for free advice from me, and like just taking advantage of both of us and
my skills and things.
Of things. So it just dawned on me. I just woke up and I said, "Oh my gosh, I always talk about this, and how could this happen?"
We woke up and we said, okay, that's it.
That's
it.
And
I don't want to do business with you anymore. That's just the way it is. I'm not even going to justify myself. I didn't justify myself.
But Dave was really nice.
I just said
nice.
I kept it neutral. I wasn't nice.
Just business, right?
I wasn't attacking them. I wasn't nice. I just business. I don't want to do business with you anymore. That's just the way it is. I'm not going to explain it. Why? I don't have to justify why. And this is what you have to do so that we can end everything. Like for the whatever money was made or whatever, this is giving me my half, and that's it, and it's done. So anyway, that was it. Now, I just wanted to say, in this book, she talks about an interesting, they've been keeping data on this it's a relatively new thing in the last 10, 20 years, becoming more aware of narcissism, narcissist energy vampires, and things like that as being a real phenomenon. And psychopathic behavior, sociopathic behavior. Apparently 1 in 5 people have these tendencies. Of course, it's on a scale. Some people on a higher degree than others, but so it's something to really be aware of, and especially since you're probably the people we're speaking to are more empathic and empaths. You really need to be careful, because it's like a magnetic attraction for the energy vampires, because we look for the good in people, and we project onto other people that they must be good too, because we know we're good, we're conscientious, we're resourceful, we want to work hard and do a good job, those kinds of things. So that these people just zero in on that, and we find it hard to believe, even when we educate ourselves about this, it's hard to believe that somebody's actually taking advantage of you in a way to feed off that energy of just being able to take advantage of you. And luckily for us, this was just a fairly minor thing compared to what some people go through. Some people are married to someone like that for years and years, or they things like that. I can't imagine.
Right. No, you just know. Wow. You just know, like when it's you feel drained after this. You feel nervous to talk to them. You get, somebody asked a question about how do you know? Well, obviously the phone rang. Oh, they're calling me. Or, oh my God, I don't want to talk to them. Or like you just feel a defense mechanism automatically. You feel defensive. Or you feel drained when they leave. And like I said earlier, you feel like you want to smudge. And someone asked also, if it's your family, how do you react? Well, you can't avoid your family, but you can avoid your family, if that makes sense.
You have to.
I had an energy vampire. I was married to one. Mother-in-law was an energy vampire. The father, the whole family was. It was just awful. I don't know how I stayed in there, because I'm a good person, and I thought that's what you're supposed to do, and you're supposed to take it. So it's like I'm talking from experience, and I thought I would never get out of there. Thank God Dave came into my life. I mean, it's just a thing that you just know. When I say that, I mean, like, you think that that's the way life is supposed to be. Even when you're away from that person, even when you separate from that family member, you still feel allow other energy vampires come in. And so you got to just wake up from it. Like, it's just, you got to say, I honor myself. I give myself more. You have to look at yourself. You have to really, really take a good look at what's happening. And you got to not feel like bad about it, guilty, because that's the number one thing is that how they kind of rule us is guilt.
Right, like especially if it's your mother, for example. Your mother maybe is a person that makes you feel guilty, and as if, because they brought you up, you're obligated, and they took care of you as a child, etc., and they did so many things for you to take care of you that you're obligated to them. And that's not the truth. And the truth is that they were responsible to you, and you're responsible to them as their child, but not for them. So it's really important that you know how to, like, there have been people who might not even take a job in another city that they really want because of their family, because they feel obligated to their family. That's a lack of boundaries. That's something that you need to be able to take a stand. If you want to take a job in another city, this is an example, and you feel obligated to your family, you need to look within yourself and you need to cut those ties. You need to stand up for yourself and what you want to do. You don't, what your parents gave you was a gift. You need to receive gifts and not feel obligated in return. If somebody gives you a gift and then you find out later that there's actually a price on that gift, if they give you that gift and act like there are no strings attached, and you receive it, and then you find out later that there actually are strings attached and there is a price with that, you need to say no. That's another area that boundaries need to exist, that you need to set those boundaries, because boundaries are obvious in the 3D world. There are walls, there are fences, there are streets, there are roads, there are buildings, and there are boundaries everywhere, clearly defined. You can see that's the boundary. My skin ends here, Mary's skin is there, type of thing. But in the spirit world, the spiritual world, and the invisible world, the boundaries aren't so clear. The world of the psyche, psychological world where we interact socially, the boundaries aren't so clear, but you need to be clear with them within yourself, and you need to set those boundaries, and you need to know where you leave the gates open, like I said at the beginning, of where you want to have the love come in and the love go out, but where you want to have the fences to keep the bad out, and to keep also to know when to say no to yourself, because you don't want to dump your stuff on someone. It doesn't mean you can't speak up if you have an issue, but you have to find the right, skillful, and appropriate way to express it.
Yes. Pippa says that she tries to avoid her mom as much as possible. Yeah, I mean, you got to honor yourself, right? It's important to honor yourself. And somebody was asking some questions here. I'm just gonna, or they were talking, and I'm just, where is it? Well, standing your ground is number one. Saying no, and I'm busy, and just like,
and not justifying.
You don't have to justify it.
Don't justify, because if you do, they're going to turn it around on you and lay the guilt on you.
There will always be that. There will always be. You can't change a narcissist. And also, the purpose of this is to make it more. It's kind of like how did they get like this?
They're born that way.
Well, they were born that way, or
that's what it says.
Actually, that was that was my ex-mother-in-law. She was just born that way.
A lot of people think it's, they talk about it quite a bit in the book, the research that people, because they have traumatic backgrounds. A lot of us have had traumatic backgrounds, and we still have a conscience, and we know basically what's right from good. They may have had a traumatic background, but that's not the cause of it. Apparently, they're discovering now with in brain research that they're actually born that way. So maybe it's related to something, ancestral with the DNA carrying forward. It's not about blaming them or not, but the thing is, this is your life. That's with whatever they're going through, you can't save them. You can't help them. Get that out of your head. You're not going to change them. They need to come to a point where they are willing to change. Just like, someone who's a drug addict or an alcoholic, they need to be willing to change. And unfortunately, that's possibly not going to happen, at least in this lifetime. But still, that path that they're going through is between them and God, between them and their soul, between them and their higher self. So it's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to you. There are even saints. I can't think of his name. He was a famous Italian saint a few hundred years ago, and he was a saint. Okay, we're not even saints. We're doing our best to be good people. He was a saint, and he would refuse to give mass to people that he didn't think were worthy. So that's boundaries right there. Like it's all through spiritual texts, and with even as an example of someone like Jesus speaking about boundaries. I don't know enough about all these texts to give you examples, but it is there, and there's nothing. You're here. This is your life. My point is, this is your life. You need to love yourself enough to say no, enough to stop the shenanigans and start living your life for you, because that's going to give you the energy. And not only that, when these people drain your energy, it causes extreme amounts of stress, psychological stress, which causes hormonal imbalances and stress on the body, on your own health. So this is for your own health and your own sanity, because then you can bring your light to the world, to people that actually want your light, not to feed off of, but to get inspired from. And don't worry about the energy vampires. They'll find someone else to feed off very quickly. They're charismatic. They have a radar for honing in on anyone who's going to be vulnerable to that. So don't worry about that. Take care of yourself, and then take care of the people that really you can inspire and support.
Yeah. I have to say that like, I'm just listening to this and talking about this, and I have to tell you guys, I want to open up and tell you my full story. And
maybe one day.
And it's just, I'm sitting here and you're probably wondering, why is Mary just going down? She's just feeling just spiraling downward. But because I feel that I've gone through. Down? Well, feel like my energy is just coming down, like while you're talking, because it's triggering me.
Oh, from what?
My past.
Oh, yeah.
Because something horrible has been done to me, right? Really, really bad. Okay, I was living with energy vampires. Actually. It was tragic. With energy vampires, and I had some really, really negative stuff happen to me. Seriously, like heartbreaking, really. And I thought that this was the way it was supposed to be. And these people, I have to say, they practice. I know maybe some of you don't believe in it, but they practice dark magic. And when I say dark magic, what I mean by that is that their intentions are, oh, how can I hurt this person? And how can I hurt that person? And I was very young, and there was a control that they used on me. And, it all boils down to why I'm here today. I was like, just sitting here, I was thinking, there's a lesson here. We're always learning, right? Yeah. So, it helped me become more enlightened. Actually, it was a blessing in disguise, because I woke up. That's why I say Dave helped me, and it was torture. Dave had his shares too. We both have, but this thing, I just wanted to say, well, that's why if you notice me, why is Mary looking like, because I was just thinking there's a message there. And, I had like everything taken away from me, and I'll just mention one thing. You see my paintings, and I was like, where are they? Well, they were taken away from me, so this is what hi, Carrie. So you know my whole story. I told you all about it. And it's like, there's a few people that do know what I've gone through, and the experience that how the energy vampires they were controlling, and I got away from her. Got away from my in-laws. Like, they wanted us to live with them forever, kind of thing. It wasn't as nice as Everyone Loves Raymond.
Your ex-in-laws.
Sorry.
Nothing to do with me.
I'm in a different universe. My mother-in-law is amazing. I love her so much. And so it was a totally different ball game, let's just say that. And I am, what, if I can do it, my message is if I can do it, you can do it. I can stand up and just, it's kind of like if you ever saw that show Vanilla Sky, that movie where Tom Cruise just walks and he's got to get out of his dream.
Apparently he's a narcissist, according to people who work for him. I don't know. I don't know about that Hollywood gossip. I don't know. But
celebrities, right? Okay. whatever. That's
Who
another
cares?
that's another video.
Yeah, who knows?
So
Who
anyways,
cares?
it's stepping over. We're not here to judge. And anyways, it's like stepping over that cliff and just diving in. Well, that's what I did. I felt like, you know what I felt like? I wanted to end everything. I wanted to end my past life, and that's what I did. And so you can do it too. So it's, maybe there is, and there will be some PTSD. I have to admit, it's not easy, but that's what we're working on. We're always working on ourselves. We don't need a fast fix, and there's no, you have to just put the energy into yourself, to believe in yourself, and every day is different. Every day we have to keep putting more energy into ourselves, because every day is a new day to start new. Remember that. Every day. Yeah, we talked about that, Carrie. That movie is pretty interesting. We should watch it again. Yeah,
it was interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here, Anil. If we can help you guys, Dave has so much info, and I read that book, but Dave's been really, studying, because it helps, it gives you control, it gives you so much empowerment, because to know that. And I'm gonna rewrite some blog posts. We're gonna do some more stuff on this, and hopefully this video saves, so I can post it to my IGTV and also to our YouTube channel.
Well, the reason I'm rereading the book is because if you know anything about neuroplasticity, they've discovered that our brains actually have the ability to change and heal and develop in new ways. And we want to continue learning and growing for our entire lifetime. And the reason I'm reading it again is so that I can really fortify and really strengthen the changes that I've gone through. I've gone through a lot of changes in the last few years within myself, and they're now being expressed externally. And I just want to make it really strong, so that I get this whole what an energy vampire is, even on the most subtle level. And it's like now I'm able to spot them, even people who are just on the periphery of my life. I'm like, I know that person has narcissistic tendencies, and that's fine. It doesn't mean I'm not afraid of them. I'm not necessarily going to keep them away, but I'm aware if I have to interact with them, how to do so. And by reading the book over and over again for a couple of weeks, I'm really imprinting that change into my brain, so that my old brain of thinking that, I'm still going to look for the good in people, but, my old brain where I really see the good in everything and see the good in people more easily, and find it difficult to believe that somebody could actually be that way, because I'm not that way. That part will be overwritten with this new and deeper and wiser understanding. So, it's something I've already learned about, and I already did understand to quite a fairly good degree already. It wasn't like I was not already aware of these things, and that I have an excellent ability. That's the thing, I'm what you call an old soul empath. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, but that's one way to describe my characteristics. And that means that, I am very confident, I am very optimistic, I'm very confident in a lot of areas of my life. But we have this blind spot that we think, we don't believe that people could be that way. So, like I said, I was already had a fairly good understanding, but now it's like 100%. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we understand something 75%, 80%, I was kind of like that, but now it's like 100%, and it's so clear and so well defined within my mind that I just want to start helping people as well, along with, when people get readings, I notice that a lot of the issues they're actually calling about or talking about are related to people who do have narcissistic tendencies that they are dealing with in their life. Anyway.
Yeah. Raising your vibe, yes. Wicca Craft and someone else said that too. Raising your vibe, meditation, absolutely. Yes, it is true. When I was with these energy vampires, can I tell you, I was a Reiki, that's when I became a Reiki master. This was in the 90s, okay? I did everything that I can to raise my vibe, because I wouldn't be here if I didn't. But that helped me. I wasn't allowed to have friends. You know that. That's why I love talking with you guys all the time. Seriously. I wasn't allowed to do this. I was not allowed to talk to anybody. I wasn't allowed to have a friend. I wasn't allowed to tell people our life and my like, or just like confide into anybody. I used to do it sneakily. I wasn't even allowed. I used to go and I used to take belly dance classes sneakily, and that helped me get out of my shell a little bit. It did, and I wasn't allowed. So I'm just giving you that. And so I did all of that. I meditated every morning. I used to wake up at 6 a.m. and just meditate. The most important thing is that you don't have to take it from anybody. You don't. And you don't have to. And you have to know that you are safe and you have protection and you have support. We are your support. There's other support out there. If you're being abused, I was abused. There is support out there. Don't let anybody brainwash you thinking that that's the way you got to live. Trust me, it's not. There is a lot of that going on, and I have to say there's a lot of karma. People will get to them, and it's not mine to judge. I'm not judging anybody, but it's just people, like Dave said, they were born that way, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, like the book is called Dodging Energy Vampires. We don't work for Hay House or for Christiane Northrup is the author. And that book it's a support for us. Like I always just look at it and I read it and I just open parts of it and I go, yes, that's what I needed. One of the biggest things I like to do is I like to smudge, and I'm just going to smudge because I just feel the energy, just, like because of all of our stuff. It's bringing up stuff. We learned from the pain, but we became grateful because of love. Exactly. Yes. And love is everything. That's what we're made out of. But we live in a body, and guess what? It's our ego, right? It's just gravity. Everything that's on this planet is a life force. Yes, prayers help. And when you have a belief, and I always used to say when I was there, I have a strong belief that I used to say, please show me the way. Every time I used to go in corpse pose, I used to just feel it. And you know what I mean? Like, whatever's going on, oh, thank you. Whatever's going on in your life, you can get out of it. That's how it goes. So I'm just gonna burn a little bit of sage, and you only need a little leaf. You don't need to get one of those big smudge. I don't like a lot of smoke, but just a little bit will do a little bit. So I'm just gonna smudge everybody. This is my smudging ones that I'm creating. I actually created a bunch of them, and I gotta post them. And yes, a lot of people want them. So
the thing is, the way the world is right now,
so I'm just smudging you guys.
Is that there are so many dense vibrations here. There's there are so many strong forces trying to hold you down. And I don't mean this as being a victim, and we're not victims. I'm just saying there's a lot of that energy around. And so when we start, in order to transcend it, to rise up, to allow our light to shine, we need all the tools we can get. We need every tool that can help support us while we're here. We need to use, whether it's meditation, crystals, tarot cards, or oracle cards, talking like we are, having a discussion and sharing information and knowledge, reading books that are uplifting, with truth in them, written by people who are actually at a high level. You have to be careful even with the books out there, because not all the books are really, even if they're in the self-help, new age, spiritual category, they aren't, even somebody, that doesn't mean that person, energy vampires can be everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. So, even if you happen to come across somebody, gurus actually are well-known energy vampires. I'm not saying they all are. There obviously are some good ones, I'm sure. But, there are dozens of cases of gurus taking advantage of their followers. So I'm just saying wolves in sheep's clothing is a key word. And, my mother used to always say that to me about certain kids around when I was growing up, oh, watch out for the wolves in sheep's clothing. There's so much wisdom in those old sayings. I grew up in the 70s, so I don't know if that's probably before your time, but
yeah, way before their time. Yes,
a lot of good old sayings.
It says that writing and scrapbooking is great too for expressing ourselves.
Sure.
Oh, you should see.
A lot of people like that. Yeah.
You should see my little collection. We have a lot in common. My collection of books and everything. And yeah, I'm glad I cleared a lot of the energy. A lot of other things can do it for you. If you don't have smudge, you can use incense. You can use a bell. You can just drink some water. That's why I'm always drinking. I drink tons and tons of water, and that helps too. Burning a candle actually helps to cleanse the energy too. So it's like there's a lot of things that you can do, right? Crystals. essential oils. Scent is one of the biggest ways of clearing the energy. It really is, and just changing your vibe. Music, also putting some songs on and just dancing. That's why I love to dance.
I make my own music.
He makes his own music, and I dance every single day in this room. I do. Just yes, aventurine is an amazing one. It helps you to actually speak your truth. Actually, aventurine will help you with energy vampires too. It's one of the ones I usually, you know what, I have my
Nature.
Nature is good, but I usually wear one all the time.
Nature.
I have one right here on my desk.
Nature cleanses your mind.
I have a couple of here. Yeah, and just selenite is good. Like there's lots of crystals. I will be doing crystal courses, for you guys soon. And tarot course almost there. Almost. So that's why we should pick some cards for you guys. And yeah.
Releasing, by the way, should be on that list. Not many people. Letting go is a big thing nowadays, but there are techniques to do it, and I've been working specifically on how to let go for many years. So, I will be doing that in more lives again. I've done it for people before, and I have people calling me and working with me as well, and I show them how you can let go of anything. Which scent? You know what? I love all scents. I have it. If I can show you, I'm a crystal and an oil junkie. I mean, I love all kinds of oils. And you know what? The one that I really love, if I'm going to have one, is frankincense. It's a blend, or sage. Hi, Kyla. And like, you can even buy these already made. You can buy them. I buy them mine from Sage Goddess. I also make my own too. So, and you can just clear the air. This is just a manifestation oil. I love it. Manifestation I use Dolce e Gabbana. Oh yeah. That was his dad's. Because it was my father's. It was his father's. Dave never wears cologne or anything like that, except essential oils. And that's the only one he'll wear and he loves, and it just reminds us of his. Because we smell that fragrance all the time. It's so funny. And his mom gave it to him recently and said, "This was your dad's," and we're like, "Wow, we smell that all the time." Amazing. So. Yeah. Oh, hi, Sabrina. I'm so happy to see you guys here entering. Yeah. Could I just tell you one story before we start reading? I thought Dave was a red flag at one point. There was one thing that I saw. I thought you were a red flag at the same time. We both did. Okay. Because Dave and I were internet. Like, we knew each other. Like I said. We knew each other. We didn't meet on a dating site. But we got to meet each other through email. Late 90s and in the neighborhood. We met in, like the old-fashioned way. We both didn't believe in cell phones. We just recently got a microwave, by the way. We were very bohemian. Anyways, we both believed in the same things. We were getting really close to each other. We were friends. We were really good friends on the email. And, Dave would always come in for readings, and we would talk and chat, and I would just talk with him. And you know what? There was one thing that I said to him. Oh, I cut my hair. And I said I kind of look like, well, I'm not judging, but I said I kind of look like, it looks really cute. The bangs are a little short. I feel like a dominatrix, And I was just joking. Well, Dave took that as like, shave one? He's like, okay. He's not comfortable with it. I'm not against it. That's not my cup of tea. It's just not his cup. He's like, oh, red flag. And then Dave ghosted me for about a couple of days, a little bit. And I was like, he's not answering my messages. And then we talked it out, and I said, yeah. And then I just told him what I was feeling. And you know what? That was the only red flag. But that's how you know. If there's no red flags, then someone is good for you. If you can talk to the person and talk if you can talk. I mean, not everybody's perfect. There's a lot of people that are the right person, but they hold back and they're closed. And I know that. It's like there's twin flames that are just like that. There's karmic flames. They're like that. So you gotta just know when you feel comfortable and when you can just be yourself. And there's some things that I want to say, but I don't know if it's like, Oh, you mean when I say I'm committed? If I say I'm committed, and that's how he got me. True. When he said, when I commit. I don't say I'm committed if I'm not. He said, when I'm committed, I'm committed. And you know what I thought? Well, that is one lucky SOB, whoever gets him. That's what I said. Yeah, but you're a daughter, I guess. Well, no, I just said that's lucky, the B word, whoever gets him, that's what I thought. That she'd be a lucky girl, lucky dog kind of thing. And so I'm a beach. Yeah, biatch. Sorry, I'm just joking, but we don't curse. Anyways. Everything's politically incorrect. Exactly. I'm joking. Yeah. If you find that you can be yourself, be your normal, you can just be yourself. Like basically, you can just go to the bathroom in front of that person. Then you can. I'm not saying you have to. Sorry. I'm just making a joke. Guys. That's when I said I'm going to say some inappropriate things. How do you know the between karmic and soulmates? Well, they basically are the same, but
One's got lots of karma, and we get people in our life that are actually a lesson. So sometimes they are feeling like the right person, but they're a lesson. Even an energy vampire, that was put there for a lesson for you in some way. And trust me, I can ask myself those questions. I'm psychic since I was born. Why was I with these people that were energy vampires? And some of you know me from the past. Sabrina, you know me, and you know it's like the people know us, and so it's like we know. It's like, how did I let that happen? Because it was a lesson and it was a gift. So, anyways, yeah. So now maybe we can do some reads. Have you saw?
I was just shuffling. Like we just do this a lot. We'll sit and shuffle tarot cards.
Let's just pick a card. You pick a card let's do one for the collective group. We got 15 minutes here.
You can pick one,
I'll pick one. I'll pick one for everybody. Yes. Okay, what do we all need to know?
What does everybody need to know for the highest good?
I just felt that chills. What do we need to know? When you ask a question, you say, what do we all need to know today? What do we all need to know today?
Well, I got a pretty good card.
Okay. Oh, okay. What did you get? You go first.
I got the Nine of Cups, which means this weekend, I see a lot of like the predictions about the energy and, you know, the different astrological weather, etc. That it's intense, but when is it not intense? You know, when is life not intense? Not too often. But this card is saying that if you're watching this right now, there's some kind of satisfaction coming your way. You know, you're just going to have a moment somewhere, even if, you know, it might be the whole day, where you feel connected, emotionally satisfied, and, you know, your health is you're going to feel healthy and just vibrant and grateful. You're going to really be in tune with that. So, you know, take that.
And judgment. I love that. Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups to me is satisfaction and abundance and cornucopia.
And it's the wish card.
It's the wish card.
Old-fashioned tradition.
If you Google the wish card on Google and say which one is the wish card, you'll get the Nine of Cups. So, but it's a really good emotional satisfaction. And this is judgment. And judgment is release yourself from the judgment. Like, don't judge yourself. This is a renewal. This is when all things have been put to rest and there's an awakening happening. Like, there's a lot of awakenings happening. Everything that's happening, did you notice there's a lot of shifts happening, especially now we're in shadow season. Shadow season means, you know, the veil is thin between this world and the other world. So it's kind of like everything is coming to the surface. It's kind of like when you sweep the carpet, all the dirt comes out. But it's like, actually, it's a release is what it is. As you can see, it's like, don't judge anything that's happening, because everything happens for a reason, and you'll be noticing that you might be having those feelings. I feel that this is more of a feeling than actual than the actual thing that's happening. So putting that together, that like makes it all like, you know, it's an amazing kind of experience that we're all going to be experiencing. It's like you're opening your heart to more to love. Like, that's what basically it is. Wait till after Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, and
I just have to say.
Yeah, exactly. Be
time.
reborn. Be born again so that you might have life, right? So, and also, I was going to add that you're being called. There's something calling you, but it's like quiet. It's your soul is calling you, and it's up to you. Remember, free will is how we respond to what's happening. Life is always challenging us. There's always a challenge to respond to, and every minute of every day, right? So, you know, but something's calling you from within, and it's up to you if you're going to answer that call. Exactly.
You have to feel it. Right. Feel the calling. Exactly. You'll know. You basically know when it's all coming to fruition.